Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Okay, we are going to dive right into a really critical shift happening in our market today. The video advantage in Chicagoland real estate 2026. Right now, most Chicagoland realtors are out there competing for the exact same buyers on the exact same platforms. But the difference between the agents who are actively winning those listings and the ones just watching from the sidelines, well, that has fundamentally changed. You see, it's no longer just about price. It's not just about location anymore either. In 2026, it really comes down to one singular defining factor: exactly how you're presenting properties online. And today, we're unpacking the source data to show you exactly why this is the new reality.
So what actually separates the winning agents from the sidelines in 2026? It's a high-stakes question, right? If price and location aren't your only differentiators anymore, what is? Well, the baseline has totally shifted. Having professional photos? That's just the absolute bare minimum standard now. It might get you in the door, sure, but it definitely doesn't win the room. To truly separate yourself in 2026, video is your competitive edge. It is the ultimate game changer. And honestly, as we'll see, the data backing this up is literally impossible to ignore.
To understand why this edge is so crucial, you just have to look at the current Chicagoland inventory constraints in 2026. We are operating in a seriously hyper-competitive market. Out in the suburbs, we're looking at maybe a month and a half of supply, and in the city, it's even tighter, sitting at just 3/4 of a month. In an environment this constrained, absolutely every single advantage matters. It is a battle for attention, and the quality of your listing media, that is your opening salvo.
Because of those insanely tight inventory constraints, we are seeing staggering numbers like 41%. That is the percentage of Chicago homes that sold above their asking price in April 2026. Crazy, right? But how do you guarantee that your listing is actually part of that 41%? It all comes down to buyer volume. More views lead to more showings. More showings create more competition. And that competition is exactly what sparks those bidding wars and pushes your final price well over asking.
Okay, so how do we actually generate that massive buyer volume? Let's kick off a rapid-fire look at the data. Listings that use video receive an unbelievable 403% more inquiries than listings that don't. Let that sink in for a second. 403%. We aren't talking about a tiny marginal bump here. This is a complete paradigm shift in visibility. By simply adding video to the mix, you are supercharging your engagement and organic search traffic in a way that regular text and photos just cannot touch.
And all that extra visibility, it directly impacts your transaction speed. Homes listed with video tours sell up to 31% faster than those without. In a fast-moving market, days on market is a crucial metric for both you and your seller. When buyers can confidently explore and understand a property right from their phone or laptop, they just make faster decisions. You're removing the friction from the whole process, and that translates straight into a faster closing.
But here is where the rubber really meets the road. Homes marketed with video actually sell for an average of 6% more than homes marketed without it. To put that into perspective, on a typical $450,000 home in Chicagoland, that is an extra $27,000 at the closing table. So the key takeaway here is huge. Skipping video doesn't mean you're saving a few marketing dollars. You are actively leaving tens of thousands of dollars of equity right on the table.
The psychology behind these massive numbers really boils down to a simple distinction. Photos document, but video communicates. Think about it. A photo just captures a flat surface. It shows you the countertop, the floor, maybe the fireplace. But a well-produced video, it captures the sequence, the flow, the atmosphere, and the true scale of the home. It naturally answers all those spatial questions that a gallery of disconnected photos just never can.
And that shift in how you communicate completely changes the buyer's mindset. When a buyer's just scrolling through a photo gallery, they're in evaluation mode, checking off boxes. But when that same buyer is watching a beautifully produced cinematic walkthrough, they shift into imagination mode. They start actually picturing their life unfolding inside that space. And that specific emotional shift, going from just evaluating a structure to imagining a home, that is exactly what drives confident, aggressive offers.
Now, despite all this overwhelming data we just covered, there is a massive opportunity gap in the market. Shockingly, only 9% of real estate agents are creating listing-specific videos. That means a whopping 91% are not doing it at all. This proves that cinematic video isn't some overly saturated tactic in Chicagoland. Not even close. It's a wide-open frontier, and it's just sitting there waiting for you to claim it.
Let's break down that real estate video reality a bit more, because it's pretty eye-opening. Only 38% of agents use video in their marketing at all. Just 26% use it consistently for every listing. And here's the kicker. Only 10% of sellers report that their agent actually used video to sell their home. What this tells us is incredible. By just committing to making a video for every single listing, you automatically default into the absolute top tier of your market. The competition literally just isn't there yet. But before you pull out your smartphone and hit record, we have to talk about what exactly makes a video cinematic. Because let me be perfectly clear, a shaky iPhone video of you walking down a hallway trying not to trip over a rug, that is not going to cut it in this market. We need a quality standard that actually elevates the property. True cinematic video is built on three main technical pillars. Number one, intentional composition and movement. This means planning your shots, using wide angles to show scale, and using smooth, stabilized camera movements that feel like a real-life walkthrough. Number two, balanced professional lighting. You've got to match the interior lights with the natural light coming through the windows to really make the space pop. And number three, purposeful music and pacing. The soundtrack and the editing rhythm literally dictate the emotional feel of the entire home.
There's a quote from the source material that I absolutely love because it hits the nail right on the head. Bad lighting in a photo is distracting. Bad lighting in video is disqualifying. Wow. If you're going to invest in motion, the execution has to be professional. A dark, shaky, unedited video with weird yellow lighting can actually do way more damage to a luxury listing than having no video at all. The standard really matters here.
So, the contrast between the two approaches looks like this. On one hand, a standard walkthrough is really just a documentation exercise. It's a sterile recording of walls and floors. But a cinematic walkthrough, that is a highly tuned marketing asset. Every single frame, every pan, every music swell is purposefully built to sell that property. One is just a boring record, the other is a compelling commercial. And trust me, the way buyers respond to a commercial is highly measurable.
Once you've got that cinematic asset, it feeds perfectly into the social media algorithms dominating 2026. Just think about the digital landscape right now. Facebook is used by 89% of agents for leads, and it heavily favors video content. Instagram Reels are generating 67% more engagement than static images. And TikTok, agent adoption there has grown to 28%, which is absolutely crucial for capturing the younger demographic that's going to be buying homes for the next 3 decades. All of these platforms are incredibly hungry for high-quality video. In fact, if you take that cinematic walkthrough and cut it down, short-form video under 90 seconds drives a 2x engagement rate compared to long-form content on almost every major platform. Think about that. A punchy, beautiful 60-second clip of a Chicagoland listing is arguably the single highest-performing piece of marketing you can put out there right now. It is pure algorithm fuel.
And this brings us to the beauty of the compounding pipeline. One single professional shoot doesn't just give you one video. It generates a long-form YouTube tour for your search traffic. It gives you multiple vertical Instagram Reels, several TikTok clips, and highly engaging Facebook lead gen posts. You are literally generating weeks of a digital marketing footprint from just one single afternoon of shooting. Talk about efficiency.
And that brings us to our next section, the OGI Optics Standard, your creative partner in Chicagoland.
To actually execute this pipeline, the source material points to local experts like OGI Optics. Founded by Josh Ojiba, this BBB-accredited media company focuses specifically on Chicagoland realtors. They handle the whole shebang, from foundational photography and drone footage to cinematic video, virtual staging, social media, and even podcasts. Their whole philosophy is more than media, which means they are focused on building assets designed to actually move your listings rather than just documenting them.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative question. You've really got to take a hard look at your current strategy and ask yourself, are you operating in a 2019 marketing environment inside a hyper-competitive 2026 market? Because the buyers, they've already moved to video. The social media algorithms totally moved to video, and the data proves without a shadow of a doubt that it wins. The only question left is, are you going to step up, adapt, and claim your digital presence, or just sit on the sidelines while your competition figures it out first?